All right, let's talk about gardening when it feels like you're on the surface of the sun. Sound familiar? Yeah, that relentless heat can feel like a constant battle. But what if I told you there's a way to not just survive it, but to actually create a garden that thrives in it? Well, you're in luck, because today we're laying out that exact blueprint. I mean, look at this. A garden like this, a real desert oasis. It's not some fantasy, you know? It is completely doable, and it has nothing to do with luck. It is all about strategy, and that's what we're going to do right now. Walk through the exact steps to turn that sun-scorched patch of dirt into your own productive paradise. Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. I've broken it down into 3 simple parts. First step, we're building the foundation. This is all about making the right choices before you even think about digging. Then, we'll get into the routine, what you need to do day in and day out. And finally, we'll get to the fun part, some master-level stuff to help you work with the climate instead of fighting it all the time. Sound good? Let's do it. All right, part 1, building the foundation. Seriously, don't skip this stuff. These choices right here, they're going to set you up for success from the get-go. We're talking saving you time, water, and honestly, a whole lot of heartache later on. So, first things first, the big question. Where are you going to plant everything? It seems like a super simple decision, right? Raised beds or pots? But trust me, in a hot climate, this choice is a huge strategic move. Okay, let's break it down. Think of raised beds as your workhorses. They are perfect for those bigger heat-loving crops. You know, your tomatoes, your peppers, your melons. Containers, though, they're all about flexibility. They are absolutely ideal for the more sensitive plants, like herbs or leafy greens, because, and this is key, you can actually move them out of that brutal afternoon sun. And honestly, this right here shows the best strategy of all. Why not use both? You can see it, right? The big raised beds are for the plants that just soak up the sun, and then you've got the mobile pots for the ones that need a little break. It's this combo that gives you a really dynamic, resilient garden that plays to everybody's strengths. Okay, now for the really fun part, what to actually plant. Look, some plants are just built for the heat. I'm talking specific varieties, like Heat Master tomatoes. The name kind of says it all, right? They were bred for exactly these conditions. Things like peppers, okra, melons, these are your absolute all-stars. Planting these is like stacking the deck in your favor right from the start. And hey, it's not just about veggies. You gotta think about fruits that love the sun too. Things like citrus and figs. And for herbs, oh, for sure. Go for those tough Mediterranean guys. We're talking rosemary, thyme, oregano. They don't just survive the heat, they practically thrive on it. But I know what you're thinking. What about my lettuce, my spinach, my cilantro? Don't worry, you don't have to give them up. The secret here is all about timing. You just plant them during the cooler winter months, or you find little shady spots to tuck them into during the summer. See? It's all about working with the seasons, not against them. Okay, let's get into a pro-level concept here, companion planting. Check out this garden on the left. See how the tomatoes are planted right next to the basil? That is not just for making a great pasta sauce. The basil actually helps repel pests that love to attack tomatoes. Now look at the right. That's fennel. It can actually stunt the growth of a lot of other plants. Understanding these little friendships and rivalries, it's a total game changer. And here's another pro tip for your layout. Use your garden's own structure to your advantage. If you plant taller stuff like corn or sunflowers to the north or west side, you literally create a living sunshade. It's brilliant. It protects all your smaller, more delicate plants during that brutal afternoon heat. Okay, so you've laid the foundation. Perfect. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the daily routine that's going to keep your garden happy and healthy. The setup is done. Now it is all about consistent care. Okay, if you only remember one thing about watering, please let it be this. Water in the morning, always, before the sun really starts beating down. And you want to water deeply, but less often. A quick sprinkle doesn't do much. Deep watering encourages those roots to grow way down into the soil where it's cooler and the moisture actually sticks around. So how do you make every drop of that water count? Simple. Mulch becomes your new best friend. I'm not kidding. A nice, thick layer of it can cut down on water evaporation by a staggering 30 to 50%. Just think about that. That is a massive saving, both in water and in your effort. And if you want to take that efficiency to the next level, you pair that beautiful mulch with drip irrigation or soaker hoses. These things deliver water directly to the roots where it's needed, which means almost no waste. This combo, mulch and targeted watering, is pretty much the secret weapon for a heat-proof garden. Look, to make it super easy, here's a simple checklist. Every morning, quick water, check for any pests, and grab anything that's ready to eat. Then, once a week, you do a nice deep water for the beds, fluff up or add more mulch, and do a little pruning if you need to. Seriously, set a reminder on your phone if you have to. Consistency is everything. All right, you've got the foundation down, you've got the routine locked in. Time for the final act, mastering the sun and seasons. This is where we go from just gardening to really working with our climate. Listen, even the toughest, most sun-loving plants can use a little help during a brutal heat wave, and that's where this stuff, shade cloth, comes in. Just draping this over your more delicate crops during the peak heat of the day can be the difference between a happy plant and a fried one. And you don't need a fancy setup. You can make a simple DIY frame for it. No problem. Okay, pay attention, because this right here is a major key to success. You have to completely forget the traditional four-season calendar. It just doesn't apply. In a hot climate, your winter is prime time for leafy greens. Spring is when you get your tomatoes and peppers started. Summer is for harvesting all those heat lovers. And then fall is when you start the whole cool season cycle over again. It is a completely different rhythm, and you have to get in sync with it. And there you have it. That's the complete blueprint. We've covered the foundation, we've nailed down the routine, and we've talked about mastery. You literally have the entire strategy now to create an amazing, thriving garden no matter how hot it gets outside. So let's circle back to this picture from the beginning. See? This isn't just a dream. This is what happens when you apply the exact principles we just walked through. It's about choosing the right plants, watering smart, and getting in tune with the real seasons of your climate. That's what makes this a reality. And if you take away just one final piece of advice from all this, let it be this. Start small. Please don't try to do everything at once. Just start with a few pots, or maybe one small raised bed. Be consistent. And listen, your garden is going to be your best teacher. I promise. Every single season, you're going to learn something new and get better and better. The most important thing to remember is that you can absolutely do this. It is 100% within your reach. You have the blueprint now. So the only real question left is, what are you going to plant in your new oasis first?